Not long ago, I went out and gave a talk to a fairly large audience, and as is often my way, during the presentation, asked them a question and asked them to hold up their arms if they knew the answer to the question. The show of hands trick, which most speakers use at some time or another. My question was this: hands up those of you who remember a company called R.W. Miller. Now, I'd asked that same question when presenting the same story to quite a number of audiences down the years, perhaps maybe 50 different audiences, ranging over a period of, say, 30 years. 30 years ago, I would say that 70% of the audience would have held up their hands. Yesterday, with an audience of 110 people, I asked that question. 4 or 5 hands went up. I could hardly see them, they were so spaced far apart. And then it occurred to me, we're all growing older, but my audiences, the older ones are dying off and the younger ones are coming on. So when I asked that question 30 years ago, I was asking it to people who were alive when R.W. Miller was a big company, or had only been gone maybe 10, 20 years. Now it's been gone for 40 years, 50 years, and so few remembered it. So what's the point I'm making here? The point is we need to realise that if we ask a question of the audience and we want to get a real powerful show of hands, we need to keep abreast of what we think the audience knows about. Something reasonably current, something knowledgeable to them. People like to participate, and if you ask them a question, which very few of them have an answer to, and ask for a show of hands, you're not going to get many hands go up. So know your audience, get a good idea of the sort of things that they will know about if you want an affirming show of hands, which brings the audience together to make them all realise or feel that they all know about what the speaker's going to talk about. As it was, the presentation went well because it's a dramatic story out of real life, and I got plenty of applause and plenty of smiles and people telling me how good it was at the end. Always good to get the pats on the back, but the lesson learned here was an important one for me. Be careful what you ask the audience. Ask them questions which, if they're open-ended questions, and you want them to know the answer already, and you don't have to want to give an explanation, know your audience, know what's interesting to them, know what they're likely to know. I hope you got something out of this short message on public speaking.